All right, welcome back again. Let me write the time. I'm live right now. I'm just gonna, I practice guitar for 3 hours. I try to do that every week. And so I do my best to just set aside a chunk of time. But I'm also a psychologist and I study mysticism. And so you just never know what's gonna come up. And today I'm working on this song. My singing teacher suggested it last week. I have a singing teacher so I can sing better because, you know, we all want to get better at what we do. You know, I take continuing education for psychology. And anyway, she suggested this song and I had played it before, but there's an artist, Jason Mraz. I don't know. I hear these songs like when I'm in a different country on vacation somewhere, or it's just playing, and I'm like, what is this song, right? Or I roller skate a lot, not lately, but only because anyway. So you can watch the previous videos to know why. I don't always want to just talk about my personal stuff. So this is to help all of us just become more enlightened, because I wrote down these quotes for us. Like these came to me again this week. Like this one, let's see. This is from the book The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, right? And I was listening to it again this week, so I just printed this part. It says, all true artists, he wrote a book called The Power of Now. And anyway, all true artists, whether they know it or not, create from a place of no mind, from inner stillness. The mind then gives form to the creative impulse or insight. Even the great scientists have reported that their creative breakthroughs came at a time of mental quietude. And so he's talking about there's this nationwide inquiry into eminent mathematicians, including Einstein, to find out their working methods, and that their thinking mind plays, quote, only a subordinate part in the brief, decisive phase of the creative act itself. So he says that the majority of scientists are not creative, that the reason they're not creative is not because they can't think well. He says it's because they don't know how to stop thinking. But listen, like this is so cool. If you're still here and you know, I'm looking down for a quote, but this is that was from the 2000s somewhere. Eckhart Tolle wrote that. I don't know. I can't remember which year I started hearing about that book. But back in I think Pavel Florensky is from the 1700s. Listen how similar this is, right? He says, and this is from a book called Iconostasis that I was reading, and I saw this quote, and then I saw that they have it online, like people resonated with this quote, because Plato says that all learning is just remembering. And so you have a resonance with truth. Anyway, in creating a work of art, the psyche or the soul of the artist ascends from the earthly realm into the heavenly. There, free of all images, the soul is fed in contemplation by the essences of the highest realm. So basically, the artist is going up into heaven and being fed what Plato says, like this is the shadow land, and C.S. Lewis talks about it. And they get a taste of the real, whether we know it or not. Like this true artist, whether they know it or not, create from a place of no mind, from inner stillness, right? Then the mind comes in and tries to give words to this. Well, look what... And I don't know if Eckhart Tolle ever read Pavel Florensky, right? But says, so in creating a work of art, the psyche or the soul of the artist ascends from the earthly realm into the heavenly. There, free of all images, the soul is fed in contemplation by the essences of the highest realm, knowing the permanent noumena of things, the permanent essence of things, or the spirit or the soul of the real soul of all things. I saw this once in a vision. I can talk about it later. But anyway, then, satiated with this knowing, it descends again to the earthly realm, and precisely at the boundary between the two worlds, the soul's spiritual knowledge assumes the shapes of symbolic imagery. And it is these images that make permanent the work of art. Art is this materialized dream, separated from the ordinary consciousness of waking life. Okay? So this is awesome. Now I can say that there's one place where all these quotes are, so people can just go to, because I'm always referencing these. And then I found this today when I was looking for these quotes on my phone. I just typed in artist to look for it. And Evelyn Underhill, she inspired C.S. Lewis. She told him his idea of God was not wild enough. And he came up with Aslan after that. They corresponded. He really admired and looked up to her. She was a writer in the 1800s and a mystic. And I have 60 hours of video where, and it's on Spotify too, but podcasts where I'm going through her book called Mysticism, Studying the Nature and Development of Spiritual Consciousness. So you can go look up that. It's on YouTube as a podcast as well under my name, Dr. Cheryl Meyer. Meier is my last name. But anyway, so she says, therefore, it is to a practical mysticism that the practical man is here invited to that book, right? But anyway, to a training of his latent faculties, a bracing and brightening of his languid, his or her, right? She would say that. Languid consciousness, an emancipation from the fetters of appearance, a turning of his attention to new levels of the world. Thus, he may become aware of the universe, which the spiritual artist is always trying to disclose to the race. This amount of mystical perception, this quote, ordinary contemplation, as the specialist calls it. I'm not trying to point to me. I'm just saying, like, this is what I study all day long, every day, because I love it and I'm just called to it. This is my calling, and it's important to honor your calling. Is possible to all men. As the specialist calls it, is possible to all men. Without it, they are not wholly conscious nor wholly alive. That's Evelyn Underhill. All right, so anyway, that's those. So I'll start playing this song. Well, oh, so this came to me. Hey, welcome. This is just like, I don't usually listen to necessarily like pop songs. I was more myself into like alternative, sometimes country, but I grew up in Dallas, and so I stayed away from country, except for old classic country. But you know, and I was friends with this guy Elliott Smith, and I've always had a lot of musicians as friends. He's passed away now, but look, my brother sent me this text this morning quoting, hey, welcome, quoting his song Coming Up Roses, Everywhere We Go. And he was talking about this deep esoteric meaning, and he didn't know. He lives in a different state that I was wearing roses today. But anyway, so I'm gonna play the song and see what comes up, because we're just knowing that even Jason Mraz, you know, thankfully that this is a fun song. I love it actually. He was going into the spiritual realm when he got this understanding, whether he knew it or not. So we'll see what cool stuff comes up after I play it. And I meant to be practicing, so you know, this is practice too. But look at how I have my nails, like, because that's our spiritual nature. We're all sparkly like that inside. Your soul inside a body. So whether you know it or not, but anyway. Done me and you bet I felt it. Tried to be chill, but you're so hot that I melted. Fell right through the cracks. Now I'm trying to get back. Before the cool done run out, I'll be giving it my bestest. Nothing's gonna stop me but divine intervention. Reckon it's again my turn to win some or learn some, but I won't hesitate no more. It cannot wait. I'm yours. your mind and see like me. Open up your plans and wow, you're free. Look into your heart and you'll find love, 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 love. Listen to the music of the moment, people dance and sing. We're just one big family, and it's our God-forsaken right to be loved, love, 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 love. So I won't hesitate no more, no more. It cannot wait. I'm sure there's no need to complicate. Our time is short. This is our fate. I'm yours. Well, I've been spending way too long checking my tongue in the mirror, bending over backwards just to try to see it clearer, but my breath fogged up the glass. So I drew a new face and I laughed. I guess what I'll be saying is there ain't no better reason to rid yourself of vanities and just go with the seasons. It's what we aim to do. Our aim is our virtue, but I won't hesitate no more, no more. It cannot wait. I'm yours. Well, open up your mind and see like me. Open up your plans and wow, you're free. Look into your heart and you'll find the sky is yours. So please don't, please don't, please don't. There's no need to complicate, 'cause our time is short. This, oh this, oh this is our fate. I'm yours. All right, that's the song today. So welcome whoever's here. I can't really tell. Sometimes I can, but anyway, so welcome. So you can go back. I don't know if it lets you. Hi, thanks for the love. You can go back and see the quotes. Hopefully they do closed caption too for people with different languages. I'm sure it will do the closed caption later, but welcome. And so I gave us these 3 quotes about where real art comes from. But also, this week I have been not watching TV for Lent very much, unless my kid is watching, and then I'll be like, oh, okay, we have to, because you have it. But anyway, so I've been listening to The Lord of the Rings again, the unabridged audible of Tolkien, because I love Tolkien. And I was listening to Practicing the Presence of God by this guy, Brother Lawrence. He's from, I think, the 1500s. And so there's a quote here that I printed out for us that's so much like this song, because I was already starting to practice this song last week. So there's that. Hopefully I get to that, because it's amazing. I'll get to it maybe when we get to that part of the song. And so what I do is I just see like mystical meanings in songs and pop songs and regular songs that help us walk through regular life. But also I'm just practicing guitar. So I put practicing guitar, contemplating life. So you trust that art comes from these heavenly realms. That's why look at my dog. Look, you can see her. She's just chill. Right? They teach us something about life, about just relax. Oh, right? I know. Someone said here, Sketch says, I didn't know the lyrics until you sang them. Well, I just trust that the lyrics are coming from heaven. No matter who the artist is, they just express these really profound universal truths. And so if you study them, this is a lot about Zen, about just being in the present moment. If you study and practice in your life being in the present moment and leaving, if you look at the word, the name for God is the I am that I am, Yahweh. Like when Moses said, what shall I tell them your name is? And someone told me this morning, because I was at the study, and he's like, first he said, I'm the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the God of this promise that I gave. But it's a deep mystical promise, so it's not just about, anyway, people will politicize everything. But so I always look at the mystical meaning, and sometimes I forget any practical meaning. But this goes back into our life. And so welcome. And so so the I am that I am is this eternal essence, this creator before all of this came to be, this duality that we live in. We live in like good and bad, and I love you not, but it's not really love if it's transactional. And so we'll talk about, when I look at love, it's always like this eternal perfect love that's above all of this. It's like set your feet on the rock that is higher than yourself, this eternal oneness. Even if they say our Father, if Jesus spoke in Aramaic first, the our Father is our creator, this one essence that includes both mother and father. There's a psalm that I love that says, when my mother and father forsake me, the I am that I am picks me up. So God is like inclusive of both. Hey, welcome. Hey, I haven't seen you in a long time. Welcome. So I was just doing this Jason Mraz song, but contemplating life in the midst of it. So let's just start with the first lyric. And I've taught on this song before, so who knows? I can't remember what I said back then, but well, I'll do the first verse. You done me and you bet I felt it. Tried to be chill, but you're so hot that I melted. Fell right through the cracks. Now I'm trying to get back before the cool done run out. I'll be giving it my bestest. Nothing's gonna stop me but divine intervention. Reckon it's again my turn to win some or learn some. All right, so well, it was like love, right? Love has done me in again, and you bet I felt it when you have this spiritual knowing. Like I was showing my fingernails, I need to get them done again, but like we're this sparkly soul essence, and so it's like, well, you done me and you bet I felt it. Tried to be chill, but you're so hot that I melted. I mean, I think of okay, so it's awesome, right? I'm like, we're alone again. Think we're alone now. Welcome. All right, never mind. Sometimes I get like the pressure gets off of me anyway, but it doesn't matter. Like I try not to put the pressure on myself anyway, no matter how many millions of people are here or not. But so I look at it like there's an ancient scripture that says that, that God will refine us when we surrender ourselves to this process 7 times, like silver is refined and gold is refined. And so someone was talking to me about it the other day because they were getting this mystical understanding of it. But it's like, so you keep refining silver to take the dross, so you don't lose. The poet, the Sufi poet Rumi says, don't worry, he says something, I'm paraphrasing him, don't worry, you don't lose anything that's really you just lose the outer stuff that's not you. So but the egotism feels like, oh no, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna lose everything. But it's all stripped down back to your essence, the God essence, the spark that God put in you, this sparkly soul stuff, right? But anyway, so I try to be chill and like detached, but you're so hot that I melted. So, Icarus, whatever, when he got closer to the sun, it melted his wings. But as we draw closer to the I am that I am, the ever one eternal God that loves us, right? Then it's really cool. If you surrender to yourself to that process, then you'll keep being refined, and it hurts bad, really bad, but it's also good. It's like, like if you were silver and you were being refined, they say that, hey, Napoleon, they say that when silver goes into the refining fire, you keep refining it till it burns off everything, until you can see your face reflected in it. That's how you know when when it's been refined enough. And so someone said that's how our loving creator is. It's like you get refined, and the furnace is for gold. So like that's even a hotter fire. But all this stuff burns off of you, and we become like love itself, like the divine love that created us. And so it says like, I'll just start that part over. So I always look at this is our first relationship with the creator. And Eckhart Tolle talks about this, and he's like a secular writer, whatever you want to call it. He talks about the cross as a symbol. I have a cross back here, but the cross as a symbol of like, keep your feet on the ground and your head in the sky, head in the divine. And then there's this balance, your arms sort of open wide type of thing. I can't remember exactly how he said it, but it's really cool because, but anyway, so, but I was quoting it the other day, the Talking Heads song. Feet on the ground, head in the sky. It's okay, I know nothing's wrong, nothing. Anyway, I've already done that song. You can go back and look at that. But so we're looking at the spiritual insight. Oh, right. I've had a spiritual. Yes. So someone here, I hope it's okay for me to quote you, right? So has said in the live, right? I've had spiritual experience when I fully surrendered to God. Okay. So this is what all songs, that's what I was going to say, is when we first go up to the divine and get the divine download, right? And surrender everything up to the divine, to God, then it helps us make sense of all our other relationships and our relationship with ourself, if you want to call it. Or we don't have to even call it that. You just are. You're in your being self. And so anyway, but yeah, when we surrender everything, and lo and behold, like people don't know this because people just like, they'll take a Bible and like hit people over the head with it, and they won't know the spiritual deep essence and the sacred nature of some of these writings. But think of Jesus as always talking on like 1,000 mystic conscious levels, right? Besides whatever else he was doing, because he came from such a higher enlightened place. Thanks for the love, right? And he says, seek first this basileia in Greek. It's Shemaiah, I think, in Aramaic. It's like this the heavenly realm. So it's a feminine word, but seek first this queendom or kingdom of the divine, of divine love, of perfect love, like this agape love. Seek first the kingdom of God and his, which is, it's beyond him or her. So, and the embodiment of both, beyond all duality, and his righteousness, this right way of being, this right way of loving, right? Look, and I have this sketchbot. I have this on my cup that I drink water. It says, just be mine. This is just surrender everything, right? You plus me equals love. Kiss me, right? And so, and then we're sweethearts. Like when you just become sweethearts with the divine, then everything else. So Jesus said, seek first this kingdom of God, and this realm of the heavenly, of the perfect that we're talking about, where all artists go to when they I don't know what happens if they're on not team good, they're on the other team and they're trying to get inspired from bad things, but I don't know. I entrust that to God, and I ask God to bring me the songs, and I'm not saying I know perfectly, but anyway. So seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, this right way of loving, this way of walking on this narrow path where you're not judging other people, but you're also just, you say, no, I'm not going to be gaslit by a narcissist. You're freaking lying right now. And I'm not going to just please you, right? That's this narrow path of like being too pleasing and then being too critical and going, well, forgive them. They know not what they're doing. They're being controlled and manipulated by other spiritual forces. Unfortunately, they're leaving themselves open to that. All right, I have this necklace that keeps clicking on my guitar. Just stay in love, right? And so, seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and in this way of love, this perfect love. And then all these other things will be added to as well, right? All these other things, the things of earth. And so I just trust that. Even when I did a couple times ago, I went live and I had just got a concussion, and I just trusted that it would all work out, and I would find the notes, and I could not find like one note that whole time. And I sang so horribly, and it was mortifying. And I totally wanted to take it down, but I'm just like, this is part of life. So I just left it. And like, you just show up with whatever. So let me get a sip of water, like, right? Lauryn Hill sings a song, You Plus Me, right? She says, adjacent to the king, fear no human being. This king, it's king and queen, but of the universe, but so, right. If that's you that came back, say some more about what your experience was when you fully surrendered to God, because that's when we practice being in this present moment. You're surrendering everything. Right then, you're surrendering that. You're surrendering that. At every moment, you're practicing being in this full state of surrender. I think in German, there's a word for it. It's called, it might be called Gelassenheit. It's like serenity. Yeah, Gelassenheit's the word I was thinking of. Now, I've been having some problems finding words. It's called aphasia, but it's getting better because of the concussion, because someone hit my car and I got whiplash, and like, anyway, where the seatbelt was, like, and so it shook my brain around, and so that's why I haven't been roller skating, and I love roller skating. All right, so I hope it's okay. It's because you wrote it here. I put this person, I don't know if it's he or she, but oh, Dan, maybe Dan. Yeah, I guess it's a guy. My brother's name is Dan, but anyway, reality turned into rippling wavelengths of equal space energy one time, or in time, or one time. So yeah, okay, that's what I was gonna say, something like that too. Thank you for sharing. I had this meditation I was in one time, and like I got to know, I won't explain how, the frequency of a tree, and all of a sudden I was like up in some heavenly realm. I don't know what or how. I wasn't trying, because I don't recommend like ever trying to like leave your body on purpose or anything. I'm not saying I left my body, I was in my body, but I saw in heaven all of these rows and rows of trees and guardian. It was really strange, something, anyway, a guardian of the trees. And so it's kind of like the real trees are in heaven. C.S. Lewis talks about this in the Narnia book, so you can read it in there, in the last book, The Last Battle. And he talks about it in his other books when he's talking about Shadowlands. But it's like all the trees are just, their arms are up in the air, and they're just in this really slow, like molasses frequency, and they're just praising God. I don't know how else to put it in words, but it is like what you said. Reality turned into rippling wavelengths of equal space energy. And so it's kind of like that. It's kind of like you recognize you're in this matrix. And I don't want anyone to lose touch with reality. So sometimes I just mention it, and it's like, but just stay grounded, all right? Stay grounded at the same time. Like I don't recommend going to any plants or anything like that myself. I don't. I think that God can just do this all sober, but you know, I had a bit of coffee today at a Bible study, so well, let's look at it like this relationship with divine love, if you want to understand as our creator. And they talked about that this morning, our Father, and I was like, yeah, it's ours, all of ours. This is the creator that sent Christ to the whole world. Christ died to redeem the whole world, if you understand that. Isn't he? Yeah, C.S. Lewis is a good author, because he's so he was so well read and he's so down to earth. He said, like, I'll quote, Plato, and I'll quote Squirrel Nutkin. I went to C.S. Lewis's house to restore it. I worked for the C.S. Lewis Foundation. And so 20 years ago, I went and helped restore C.S. Lewis's house. I got that opportunity. I just loved C.S. Lewis so much. And then I got to walk from Tolkien's house to the pub that they would go and write at, the Eagle and Child, and bring my child to that, both my kids to that pub. It's like, here's a mom, like, you want to take them all over the world. No, you have to go to the pub that C.S. Lewis and Tolkien wrote from and discuss their books at, right? And so anyway, they called it The Bird and the Baby, but the Eagle and Child. And anyway, I love C.S. Lewis so much, because he explains things so well and he doesn't exclude people. I never want to exclude anybody, because I just don't feel like God is exclusive in that, it says, Jesus said that, right? Again, and understand this mystically. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. This is Jesus saying about himself, that whosoever shall believe in him will not perish. You won't perish. Your soul won't perish, but have eternal life. So and he says, I came to give you life and life abundantly. And so there's all this stuff about, and so we're meant to also align with this love and know these deeper, higher understandings. But just ask, just surrender everything to God. Someone said it the other day, there's a woman here on I won't say what platform I'm on, but she's on both. She's on all of the platforms. But her name is Latoya Okia, and she's just like, it's so easy. She's got this Atlanta accent. I don't know how to do hers. I don't know how to do a Texas one. She's like, all you got to say is, locate me, Jesus, right? I'm not doing her accent well at all. But anyway, you just say, locate me, Jesus, right? And then he'll find you all right? And then fill me with your Holy Spirit and heal me. And he said, I came to heal the broken-hearted. So I call it like the broken-hearted. And one other thing I was thinking of with this is one thing you were talking about, Dan, is I was friends with this guy, Elliot, and he sings this song. I'll tell you in a second. I'll remember to go back to that. He sings this song, everything means nothing to me. And so you're going up this scale, and as you go up this scale of life, you realize that everything means no thing to me. You're going to this place of no thing, where you're not trusting in things like a person or a situation or a place. One thing about C.S. Lewis's house, so Dan asked, is anything interesting or different in C.S. Lewis's house worth mentioning, is that it was called the Kilns. And so it used to be a place where someone made pottery. So it had like 8 different fireplaces, but when I was there, I don't remember seeing that many at all. And before I got there, they said that the whole ceiling, right here's my ceiling, so you can tell that I don't smoke, but the whole ceiling was just brown, because him and his brother, they didn't know about smoking back then, but that's not what he died of. So anyway, and who knows, because I talked to this mystic guy that he's Native American. He'll say something different about tobacco, but than what the world says and what they put on the. But anyway, I'm not getting into that. But C.S. Lewis and his brother Werner had, that's how you say it in German, not in English. Werner had like brown from them smoking so much in the house. That's one thing I remembered. But no, we were just like breaking down walls so they could make it into a study center. I think it's probably, they were going to use his real house they were going to use C.S. Lewis's real house for the movie Shadowlands, but they couldn't fit all the cameras. So they I think they tried to recreate it, but in that movie with Anthony Hopkins played C.S. Lewis. It's an older movie, but okay, so we got to get on this because I only have about 25 more minutes or so. Well, you done me in. So think about the Creator, like you done me in. You brought me in. You brought me up. You brought me to this perfect love. You helped me understand it when you drew me by love to surrender. All right, and you bet I felt it. There's a spiritual soul feeling. Tried to be chill, but you're so hot that I melted. So the more you draw into God, the more you go up into the divine nature of God, He'll refine you. He's more than He, but I try to be chill. I try to be all detached, and I'm so cool, and I know how to do all this. And you're like, oh my gosh, I've messed up everything. Who was that? Whoever wrote like the Summa Theologica, it's like 8 volumes. I have part of it, or I don't know. It's this long, long book. Was it St. Augustine? I can't remember right now because sometimes I'm in a different mindset. But at the end of it, right, he had all these contemplations about God, right, a saint. And then he's just like, I feel like I haven't even written anything about God. Like I could just throw this all away. I've not even begun. Or this mystic saint, I think they call her a saint, but Matilda of Magdeburg, she wrote this book and of all these visions that God gave her because her spiritual director told her to write it. And she was from maybe the 1600s, wrote in some old Germanic language, and it was translated by one of Evelyn Underhill's friends, but or Evelyn Underhill wrote in it, or so, I don't know, but anyway, she said, of everything that I saw, all that I'm bringing to you is as much as like a bee can take from like one flower or a pot of honey, like the amount of honey it produces from one flower. I don't know. It's like, I'm just bringing you a thimble of that. So there's so much more depth to all this, but anyway, I tried to be chill, but you're so hot that I'm melted. Doesn't it feel so good when your outer self melts off and you're like, oh, thank God, I thought I was this present day personality self, and I'm not that. I tried to be so chill in myself, in my egotism, but you're so hot that I melted, thank God. I fell right through the cracks. Well, Leonard Cohen, right? And Rumi is the one that said it before him, but I'm sure it was said from all time. Rumi said that something about the crack is where the light gets in, right? And so I fell right through the cracks. I fell right through, and you can look at these as the cracks of your egotism, the cracks that you think that I am that, but you realize I'm not that. And so I fell right through these cracks that showed up. You know, there can be cracks in a relationship, and you're like, wait a second, that person is not who they're pretending to be, but neither are you. And so you learn, how to move more towards agape love, towards real love, not transactional egotism love. But, this is about two people falling in love. And so they think that they're in this agape love. And it is a foretaste. What does C.S. Lewis says? He says that if I find in myself a desire which nothing in this world can satisfy, the most probable explanation is that I was made for another world, right? And we don't go to that world now. We just bring that world into our lives. Like those kind of quotes sometimes made me suicidal as a teenager. And so I can't explain everything, but I want people to know that watch this later. No, we pray in the one prayer Jesus taught us. Our Father who art in heaven, which is beyond mother and father, right? Hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come. Your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day the super substantial, this heavenly knowing that we need that we do get from songs, and we do get from art, and we do get from the Holy Scriptures if people contemplate them and know what they're saying. But anyway, I try to be chill, but you're so hot that I melted. I fell right through the cracks. We call that Jehovah sneaky. Like God creates these cracks so that the light gets through, and it shines on our darkness. It also shines, it's like that lyric from U2. It's like, I want to feel sunlight on my face. I see the dust cloud disappear without a trace. Like we want the sun to shine on us. And then where the streets have no name, where you're not separating people by their classes. That's what he was talking about. Pride or fear. So Dan is saying, pride or fear seems to be the root of all sin. The word for sin is to miss the mark of perfect love, right? So pride or fear, we get afraid and then we grabbing hands, grab all they can. I say grabbing hands, grab all they can. We get in a fear state. We grab all this stuff that we're not meant to put our hope in, and to numb us from the shame that we could have just given to God, and he would have cleaned it out, right? Taken it from us. Pride or fear seems to be the root of all sin, wanting to do the thing our way. And why wouldn't we want to control it if we are to think we're only temporal and not infinite? Exactly that, Dan. You got it. You understand. So you resonated. Like, that's why you're here today in the live. Like, that's how I think, because Christ is like a magnet, and he draws us into this truth and this love and this higher understanding. And the word sin is to miss the mark. So it's miss the mark of perfect love. But all right, so I tried to be chill. Thank you for sharing that. But you're so hot that I melted, fell right through the cracks. Now I'm trying to get back, right? Like the Beatles sing that. Can you take me back where I come from? Brother, can you take me back? And like what C.S. Lewis was saying, the most probable explanation is we were made for another world. And Jesus talks about that, I am the vine, you are the branches. Remain in my love, right? Remain in this love. And I loved you as the Father has loved me, so I have loved you. Now remain in our love. And he just says, and so the Father lives in me, and I will live in you, and you'll live in me. And then Colossians 3:3, it says, don't you know, for you have died, and your life is now hidden with Christ in God. And so we have, and they also says in the scriptures, we're ambassadors from a different realm, from the heavenly realms, right? So don't worry that you don't feel at home here. Just you're here for a reason, Just like last time I did 13 by Big Star that Elliot would always sing. It's like, won't you let me walk you home from school? Like God is offering to walk us back home while we're here. We're not left alone. But anyway, now I'm trying to get back to the love we once knew. Now that's what happens as a psychologist. I can say that's what happens in romantic relationships. You fall in love and everything seems blissful, and you're getting a taste of what divine love is like. And then you go into the power struggle, unfortunately, and your egos start battling each other, and you project all your pain onto them, and they activate your pain body, and then you get disillusioned with the relationship. But if you actually go back and learn how that beginning stage, don't just start taking things from that person to try to, that's my recommendation, to try to make that state go, to some high that you're trying to manufacture. I recommend keeping good boundaries, just the same boundaries you'd want your own like 17-year-old or 20-year-old daughter or son to have, right? Like if you really thought about what's best for you're still allowed to fall in love, all right? So let's just go back to that. And we're falling in this divine love space too. We're falling up. I sometimes say that, right? You done me, and you bet I felt it. I tried to be chill, but you're so hot that I melted. Fell right through the cracks. Thanks for the love. Now I'm trying to get back before the cool done run out. I'll be giving it my bestest. Nothing's gonna stop me but divine intervention. Reckon it's again my turn to win some or learn some. I have gardeners, and so they just showed up. Hold on one second. Hey, Jay? The gardeners are here if you want to go clean up, but I'm on live still. You can just, I don't know how you do it. Just keep your back to the camera, or I can turn it the other way. I can move to the other couch. Okay, I'm sharing my house with other people. I'll just say it like that. All right, sorry if I yelled in the camera. So, nothing's gonna stop. So they don't walk on all the stuff. The dog goes back there. Hi. Okay, so nothing's gonna stop me but divine intervention, right? So like, nothing's gonna stop me from learning about this love and going to these higher places. except for like if you have, let's just say, as a psychologist, I'll say like, started a relationship with a counterfeit, like someone that you're not meant to be with, right? A counterfeit. I have some counterfeit $100 bills in here, right? They're just printed. My kids got them for like some prank they were doing or something, but it's like they look a lot like the real thing. They don't have the ribbon thing in them, but they have a picture of the ribbon. So and it's, you know, in America here we have those. And so so divine intervention can wake you up to the higher knowing and going, hey, you're just dating that person because she's a model, or him because he's like really good looking, or he acts like he has a bunch of money in the bank, and you think you're going to be more secure, but you know, I have someone with a far better character and y'all will make money down the road or whatever, right? And so divine intervention can come in. So it's good that you leave room for that. But to I guess I'll either win or lose some, or learn some, right? You win some or you learn some. Like you're learning, hey, I took the wrong path on that. I am anyway. And nothing's gonna stop me but divine intervention. Reckon it's again my turn to win some or learn some, but I won't hesitate. No more, it cannot wait. I'm yours. I love this line in Oasis. Oasis sings a song where it's like, slowly walking down the hall, faster than a cannonball. Where were you? Well, we were getting high. We were getting high. And I look at that like high. You can get high on these divine revelations. You don't have to go take any substance, right? They might act like they're talking about, oh, we're so cool, we're talking about getting high. But you actually get high when you go to these higher realms. And so you can get high without getting high. And you can, but it, and I read somewhere after Elliot died, I'm sorry about the noise, it's just part of it, right? That I think it was that song that he kept listening to over and over again for like a week, and I missed him so much. So I just bawled my eyes out when I read that book, because so much was so familiar with our conversations. This guy Elliot Smith, he's passed away, but and so I think, but it goes. Someday you will find me caught beneath the landslide in a champagne supernova in the sky. Yeah, there's Dan saying Elliot Smith has some complex chords, some he made up. Yes, good heartfelt stuff. Yeah, he was in that movie. I mean, they put 5 songs of his in Good Will Hunting, and that's your goodwill. And anyway, yeah, Elliot, I mean, the conversations we had, he's always talking about higher things, and he's so humble about it, because he didn't, you know, he went through a lot of stuff in his childhood. And so, you know, he's saying, you know, won't you follow me down to the Rose Parade? And when you clean the streets, I'll be the only stuff that's left behind, right? Anyway, so, but let's go back to this. So I won't hesitate. I'm not going to hesitate anymore. I'm not going to keep second guessing. I'm not going to stay in my egotism. I'm going to act from this higher realm. I'm going to live above duality. I'm going to I don't know what the next moment is. I don't know if I get to live tomorrow. I didn't know that Elliot wasn't going to be here anymore, right? None of us knows anything. God knows, right? And so live your life to the fullest. And so, like, okay, so when I was reading this book from the 1500s, I printed this, I laminated it for us, but and for myself too, but it's Brother Lawrence, right? And he says, if sometimes he's talking about himself, but he wanted it to be, you know, he's writing someone about how to enter into these heavenly realms, like how he found, but he's just acting as if he's talking about some other person. Okay, so it says, here's the top part. He's now so accustomed to that divine presence, this presence of God being in this presence and this divine love, that he receives from it continual succors. That's someone rescuing you all the time with love divine, like this. Be mine, be mine, be mine, all day long. That's what he experiences. That he receives from it continual succors upon all occasions. For about 30 years, his soul has been filled with joy so continual and sometimes so great that he is forced to use means to moderate them, to not show people how beautiful this is that he's experiencing, and to hinder their appearing outwardly. If sometimes he's a little too much absent from that divine presence, God presently makes himself to be felt, right? You bet I felt it, right? In his soul, to recall him, to call him back to this surrender, to this higher place, to this higher knowing, to this higher experience. It's not just a head knowing, right? Get out of our minds. It's above, we can be addicted to our thoughts, right? Which often happens when he is most engaged in his outward business, when he answers with exact fidelity to these inward drawings, either by an elevation of his heart towards God or by a meek and fond regard to him. So he's reminded to just give God, hey, all right, I hear your love. I feel it. I know it. Even if we don't feel it, like God is loving us. And, you can just stare at a crucifix, Jesus on the cross, and be like, wow, this person did that before I did anything. While we were yet sinners, he came and died for us. So there's a big, deep understanding of that. But anyway, so it says, by an elevation of his heart toward God, or by a meek, fond regard, or by such words as love forms, like this song, love forms upon these occasions. As for instance, my God, here I am, all devoted to thee. Lord, make me according to thy heart. So when we just say, here I am, make me according to thy heart, right? And it seems to him, just like what you were quoting, Dan, about your experience, as in effect he feels it, that this God of love, satisfied with such few words, reposes again and rests in the depth and center of his soul. And the experience of these things gives him such an assurance that God is always in the depth or bottom of his soul, and renders him incapable of doubting it upon any account whatever. Judge by this what content and satisfaction he enjoys, while he continually finds in himself so great a treasure. He is no longer in an anxious search after it, but has it open before him and may take what he pleases of it. All right, so there's so much more, but anyway, that's that. If you want to take a screenshot, I have it. Anyway, later you can take one. I plan to post this. Hopefully it'll post. Otherwise, Dan, you're the only person that got all of this. But so welcome everyone that watches this later. I wish you so much love and peace. Anyway, so let's keep going with this song. But that words, I was playing this song, and then that came out. But so I'm not going to hesitate. So that's what it's so cool. I cannot wait. But it reminds me of that oasis. It's slowly walking down the hall, faster than a cannonball. You're not rushing, but you can be in this contemplative, surrendered state and be running. I can be on a run and still not rushing. And so it's going faster than a cannonball, but you're slowly walking down this hall of life, right? Where were you? Where were you? Where were you? You were lost in your personality self instead of your deep essence when we were getting high, right? Someday you will find me, right? You'll find me. Your soul is saying that someday you'll find your real essence, your soul, eternal essence that's meant to be vivified by the Creator, by God. But I won't hesitate no more, it cannot be. I'm yours. All right, and so that's what Brother Lawrence he's just saying. All I have to say is, here I am, God, make me like your heart. And then, and I was thinking of my dog, right? I was reminded of her. She, wait, where is she? Oh, there she is in your image, right? Is like, she will be sleeping on my bed sometimes, right? And she'll be like itching or move around. And then like right when she finds that spot where it's all warm, she just like, even if it's like on my belly, she'll just fall back asleep again, right? And it's like God just is like, hey, I'm right here. Come back to love. Come back to love. And then, then it rests again, just like that quote. I hope you can re-listen to that quote because I could, anyway. Johnny Erickson Tata was quoting it, and then it made me look it up in the book again. She's paralyzed from the neck down, and except for, I think she has feeling in her feet because she does painting with her feet, but she's not quadriplegic, just paraplegic, just can't use her arms, and so has to be taken care of in all these ways that bring you. She has this deep love for God, right? But any of us can go in anxiety and be anxious about anything, but I won't hesitate to go back to this place. It cannot wait. I'm yours. Well, open up your mind. Stay out of your mind, right? Go up above your mind. Open up your mind and see like me. Open up your plans and wow, you're free. Look into your heart and you'll find love, 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 love. Right? You're free. He says something else besides wow, but I just put wow in there because I like it like that. It's like because there could be little kids around, but I'm not all prudish. I just think, anyway, what kind of music do you like to play? Any song that will remind me of these divine truths. Hey, hold on 1 second. Hey, I'm on a live right now, but 5 more minutes. Do you have 5 minutes? Okay, then I'll turn off. You can have that. I've got that to bring home. Okay, so I can't pause it, otherwise I'd pause it. But I can move this? Okay, it's 5 more minutes. All right, thank you. Yeah, you're not in the shot. It's this way. But are you going to stay? Huh? Yeah. Oh, awesome, okay. All right, that's funny. All right, so open up your mind and see like me. Open up your plans and then, wow, you're free. If you open up your plans, stop going by your control. Someone said, it's like Rumi says, when you stop chasing what your mind wants, you'll get what your soul needs. So open up your plans and stop trying to control all of it. Like, I'm just like letting things flow, and I didn't know this was going to happen or this or that, and you'll find this deeper love, this higher love, this place that takes you. Love, love, love. Listen to the music of the moment, people dance and sing. We're just one big family, and it's our God-forsaken right to be loved, loved, love. So I won't hesitate no more. It cannot wait. I'm sure there's no need to complicate. Our time is short. This is our I'm yours. And then we go back to this vanity thing. Look at how long we've been spending our time checking ourselves in the mirror, trying to get likes, trying to please people. Like, it makes me cry sometimes when I realize how much time I wasted. I never want to do that again. So I've been spending way too long checking my tongue in the mirror, bending over backwards just to try to see it clearer. But my breath fogged up the glass. Look in 1 Corinthians 13, it says we see but in a glass dimly, right? But anyway, my breath fogged up the glass because I was so close to looking at myself in this mirror all the time that I just drew a new face. I saw my real face, and I just had to laugh. You have to laugh and forgive yourself. So but breath fogged up the glass, so I drew a new face and I laughed. I guess what I'll be saying is there ain't no better up your plans and wow, you're free. Look into your heart and you'll find the sky is yours. So please don't, please don't, please don't. There's no need to complicate, 'cause our time is short. This, oh this, oh this is our fate. I'm yours. All right, that's it. We did our hour of practicing and talking about this. Thanks so much, Sketchbot Dan. Thanks so much for being here, and everyone else that came by. Some of my old friends, Brownie and Napoleon. And anyway, thanks so much. And I'll post this on. I plan to post this on my other on my other platforms. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yes, having a chat and hearing the song spoke to me. Have a lovely day. You too. Be in love, right? If you choose. There's no should. All right. Much love. Thanks.